My favorite, my winner pick, my Caroline is gone. And yet I still have a huge smile on my face because that was the greatest episode of television ever. It was masterful from literally the first shot after the previously on, which was a close-up of a spider's web. Andy said he was the spider, and Operation Italy was a spinning of intricate lies executed to perfection. The last thing that got me this pumped up was Hamilton, so if you'll indulge me, let me summarize the episode.
There's really nothing I could have done.
We are outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. You gotta make an all-out stand. Hey yo, I'm gonna need a right-hand man.
For this to succeed, there's someone else we need.
I know.
So no one has my resilience or matches my practical tactical brilliance. You want to fight for your land back?
I need my right-hand man back.
Yeah, get your right hand man back. You know you gotta get your right hand man back. I mean you gotta put some thought into the letter, but the sooner the better to get your right hand man back. Monsieur Hamilton,
Monsieur Lafayette,
in command where you belong.
are you saying no sweat? We gotta go, gotta get the job done. We move undercover and we move as one. Through the night we have one shot to live another day. We cannot let a stray gunshot give us away. We will fight up close, seize the moment and stay in it. It's either that or meet the business end of a bayonet. The code word is Rochambeau, dig me? Rochambeau. You have your orders now, go man, go. And just like that it's over. I see George Washington smile. We escort their men out of Yorktown. They stagger home single file. The world turned upside down. The world turned upside down.
Amazing though the episode was, it wasn't great for feminism. Ultimately, a man bamboozled a group of 4 women after all of these scenes that made the women's alliance look so promising.
I like this part.
Me too.
Me too. I mean, I am obsessed with the idea of all women.
And me too.
I would be proud to sit by all 4 of you.
Yeah, I would have 0 regrets.
Me too, and I would be happy if any of you won.
I'm liking the score a lot. So I'm hoping to use some morale, kumbaya, we're 4 final women, we got this, let's go. We're going to run this show to the very freaking end. Girl power! Woo! Girl power. Good job, guys. Woo! Engagement.
And remember that this is the second time this season that the editors have made an alliance of women look great, only to have the dream dashed by a trio of Sam, Andy, and a woman who chose to work with them. And the worst part is that the women being outwitted isn't even what I'm going to be talking about for the rest of this episode, because there is a much more important question to answer.
Am I just a man hater at my core?
Teeny spewed a fountain of anti-Sam vitriol this episode, and she tied her dislike of him specifically to his classically masculine gender expression.
But you know what, guys? He's a stand-up guy. Oh, yeah. He's a hero! Most generous man I've ever met. Sam wants to be the hero. Woo! He is just this honorable, strong, just smart guy. So he picks the only other guy out here, Andy, his boy. Having somebody who's like your typical all-American quarterback-looking guy around all the time, it's just not my thing.
I have a theory. People who chafe under the gendered expectations put upon them can have a hard time accepting those who excel at adhering to expectations. I talked in the preview to this project about how I never tend to root for gorgeous, cool women. For my 6th birthday, I told my friends to get me anything but a Barbie. Barbies epitomized a narrow definition of womanhood that felt not just unattainable, but oppressively unattainable. In the preview, I mentioned rooting for charming men, but I should have clarified that I meant charmingly nerdy men like Charlie and Zach, never muscly guys like Danny, Jonathan, Hunter, or Austin. I didn't want a G.I. Joe for my birthday either. Like Teeny, I've always seen more appeal in the gender neutral, the gender bending, and the offbeat than in the strictly gender conforming. Especially when I was younger, like Teeny, I didn't just celebrate my own uniqueness. I dismissed the people who I perceived to be conformists. Sam and Sierra hit the beach epitomizing gendered beauty standards. As Sam put it,
Aesthetic. She said it's Ken and Barbie and
Get out of here!
but the Survivor editors ensured that the audience came to see Sam and Sierra as complex people, not stereotypes. I want to highlight a moment from Sam this episode where he's shown being curious about Genevieve's inner life in a warm and gentle way that doesn't fit the jock stereotype.
Can I ask you something?
Okay.
I'm just curious to your non-emotional approach. Where do you think that comes from?
Teeny doesn't seem to see this side of Sam, or indeed any of his depth, but I think we should give her some grace. The tribes have only been merged for 10 days, 10 very difficult days for Teeny.
I feel like I'm dealing with a lot of very personal inner world issues and trying to mask them for the sake of my game. So I just feel really alone.
She must have formed a two-dimensional idea of Sam in the strange silence of the pregame, mostly informed by the fact that he looks like the poster child for the gender-binaried world that's so tough on her.
I don't know exactly how I fit in a sort of man and woman binary world.
About the Italian food reward, Teeny said,
I'm also jealous. I want to be there. I'm not gonna lie about that. I want the food. I want the loved one letter.
I suspect that at the heart of both her and my, and a lot of people's knee-jerk dislike of prom kings and prom queens, is jealousy. Jealousy that, from the outside at least, they seem to belong and we don't. So,
am I just like a man hater at my core?
No. Teeny certainly doesn't hate all men. She loves Saul. Notably, Saul and Gabe both came to the jury bench this episode wearing Sulus, the traditional lower body wrap worn by Fijian men. Sulus read as masculine in Fiji, but not to most Americans, especially not rainbow Sulus. It's unsurprising that Teeny gravitated to Saul, who, for all his muscles, rocks an earring and clearly values individual style over the performance of narrowly defined masculinity. That brings us to the other man in a rainbow Sulu, and the man in the basic blue jeans, and the woman who loves one and has repeatedly expressed a not-okay desire to kill the other. Does Sue hate men? Sue's first few girl boss confessionals of the season were very anti-male.
That's a man who's underestimating me, and I get the same feeling I got when I went into the aviation industry, which is male-dominated, so I totally know how to handle guys like that.
But her long-standing alliance with Gabe suggests a willingness to work with some men. What Sue seems to value most is respect. She doesn't like people who, in her view, look down on her.
He walked around calling Caroline and I Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I referred to a couple of players on the season as Tweedledee and Tweedledum. That's come to light. And I'm going to stop right there. And I'm also going to highlight the fact that if you're ill-educated, that sounds like an attack. If you are educated, you will understand that the definition of this is two people alike. It's not an attack. What that is me identifying two players in a game. They will not vote for one another, and they will only vote the same direction. To me, these two people seem alike, very much so. And so that was about as ugly as I went.
Sue loves the people who make her feel included and valued. That brings us to the best Category 1 Bechdel test passing conversation of the week.
I'm proud of you. You know, your personal skills are just blowing my mind. I'm so impressed by you. We've also been running the game and no one's realized it.
As a duo, we have all of the tools and all of the roles that we need to make it to the end. I'm a planner, I'm a strategist, but I feel like Sue is my provider. And she's most willing to like put her neck out there and do the dirty work.
Oh, you gotta wait, you have to do it.
I love seeing women express admiration for each other based on their skills. And this may be a stretch, but I also think that the very traditionally female cooking lesson at the beginning of this conversation is actually foreshadowing.
It's supposed to be 2/3, so that's right. Okay, let's let it. Maybe we'll let it keep cooking like that a little bit more. Here, I'll do. I practiced making rice before this like once. I actually just don't know how to cook.
Sue states that the correct ratio for cooking rice is 2/3 water to 1/3 rice. And Caroline says she's
So not a cook.
The underdog alliance, including Andy, was more than 2/3 of the remaining players. Without Andy, it was less than 2/3, and Caroline's rice got burned. The other Category 1 Bechdel test passing conversations in this episode were the aforementioned premature celebrations of the Women's Alliance, and this scene of Genevieve and Teeny being frenemies.
Like, so you would vote for Rachel or the other side? I'm not a slam dunk for you if Rachel is there. That's what I'm saying. Sounds like a threat. I say it's not a slam dunk for you, and then you come back and tell me that's a threat. You know, the thing to say. You definitely use emotions as a weapon. I'm just giving you my opinion because you asked. Alright. Oh, so awkward. Oh my god.
For a Category 2 strategic conversation, I guess I can count this one where Genevieve bamboozles Teeny.
Between you two, they're leaning more towards you. Okay, perfect. Keep it on me. Why? Because then I'll be fine. Am I gathering what I think? You're gathering what you think. Can I see it? I'm trying. Oh, let me go. Okay. No, we have to move.
How did Teeny believe Genevieve after that other interaction? It boggles the mind. Last week, I accused the editors of robbing worthy women of glory by taking 5 episode titles from Andy. This week, he got his 6th. Now, this is a bit of an exception, because Operation Italy is the obvious title for this episode. As is my custom, though, I have chosen an alternate title from a female castaway.
Loved ones letters is always contentious. People get pissed. It's like choosing Bridesmaids. Like, you just don't want to do it.
Conceding that Operation Italy is the better title in this case, we still have to wrestle with the statistic that 50% of all episode titles have now come from one player. Does Andy win? And this is the editor's way of saying it was right there in front of you the whole time. Like how in season 45, the winner was the only person whose name appeared at the top of the screen instead of the bottom in the opening credit sequence. If that's the case, I guess I can excuse the robbery. But my bet is that this season's "it was right there in front of you the whole time" moment was the one I pointed out in episode 1.
Welcome to Survivor 47.
Since my previous winner pick is now gone, I'm officially forecasting Genevieve bringing the title home to the Canadian prairies. If I'm right, and Andy is not the winner, the next episode title better come from a woman. Let's conclude with the best confessional of the week. The one that convinced me that Genevieve is going to win. Gabler was just an alligator. Genevieve is an entire zoo.
In this game, if everyone is afraid that I'm too big, too much, I think the best thing for my game is to shrink. I would love to be like the big bad wolf still, but that is going to end my time quicker than playing possum. And at this point, I will play possum, I will play sad puppy, dog with tail between its legs, I'll play giraffe, elephant, whatever I need to play.
The interesting part of that for feminists is
I think the best thing for my game is to shrink.
the history of women living under patriarchy is the story of women with big brains, big personalities, big ideas, big bodies, big dreams, shrinking themselves to fit under a thumb. Shrinking is the right choice for Genevieve in the context of this game, but my hope for all the women watching this video is that you choose elephant.
All of them.
The Taylor Swift on his trip.
You know the societies in Korea where it's just women who choose to live together?
This is Survivor. Nothing's ever so cookie cutter. Oh, boys and girls.
Right.